So I am the youngest of three boys. The age difference was not very big. My middle brother, Dan, 11 months, 2 days. That makes us Irish twins. The oldest brother, Mike, it was 2 years, 2 months, and 1 week. That wasn't the problem. The problem was that both of my brothers were always 6 inches taller than me, had blonde, straight hair, and blue eyes, which kind of made it like they were from a different tribe, which certainly made it easy for them to pick on me. Now, when they were mad at me because I was such a small, easy target, they'd hit me in the arm. When they were mad at each other, they'd hit me in the arm. When they were bored, they'd hit me in the arm. They would take my toys, they would take my bicycle. If their bike was broken, they would just grab mine. I even remember the day when they pulled the legs off my teddy bear Goober. It was a hard life. About the age of 13, the oldest brother, he did something to me, and for some reason, I took all of the anger from all of those years and I focused it on that one moment. And he was in the kitchen talking to my brother Dan, and they didn't even notice me because I was so much shorter than them. And I walked into the kitchen, and I saw him standing there, and I got more and more angry. It was like a rubber band on a toy airplane where you wind it up, and it was so tight, there were little knots in it. And I focused all my anger because I had, in Popeye's words, I've had all I can stands and I can't stands no more. And I walked up to him and I clenched my fist, and all the invisible lightning in the universe, it converged in my hand. I was Thor. I was the Hulk. I was the Thing, and it was clobbering time. And I wound my hand back. And he didn't even see me there. I'm staying right in front of him. And my 13-year-old, I was probably 5 feet tall, 100 pounds soaking wet. And I pulled it back with everything I got. And I swung through and I hit him right on the side of the face. And looking back now from a different perspective, it kind of seemed like, if you can envision an open book on a patio table and a light breeze comes along and one of the pages flips over, my brother Mike. And his eyes widened and red came over his face and his nostrils flare, and I realized at that moment I woke the Kraken. Much like a horse race, courageous Randy is across the kitchen and out the back porch, out the front door at turn 1. Angry Mike is on his heels. Courageous Randy, his feet are going so fast, it's like the beaters on a mix master at high speed. But instead of batter flying everywhere, it's dirt coming off his heels. Angry Mike is on his trails. They're across the front lawn, across the Talsma's yard, the Innes's, around turn 2. Courageous Randy is giving it his all. He's feeling the hand of Angry Mike on his shoulder, but he sprints a little faster, and he goes through the boss's backyard on turn 3 and dives through the bushes. And I win. I get away. And I don't really remember the rest of that day. I think I walked in the woods for a while because that's what you do when you're too scared to go home. And when I got home, he just glared at me and he said, "Never again." the beatings still continued, the abuse, but I suffered through it. And maybe a couple years later, I'm going through a comic book, and I see Vic Tanny's weight training program, and I actually take it up, and I start lifting weights, and I get a little bigger. A couple more years go by, I join the military, I do some martial arts classes. I come home, I come up behind my brother Mike, he's standing there talking, again, never notices me, and I wrap my arms around him, and I start swinging him. Take his feet right off the floor, and he can't do a thing because there's no touching the ground, no balance. And I swing him a little farther this way and farther this way, and he's starting to panic, and I turned him almost horizontal with the ground, and I don't know why, but maybe I do. I don't know why, but I pulled like one of those WWF moves, and I drilled him into the ground. And it hurt him. Not bad, but I recall him rubbing his neck for a couple days. And the abuse stopped. He wouldn't even play with me when I got home. I lived in Baltimore. I'd go up to Michigan for vacation, visit the family. The next time I went up to Michigan after that incident, he was very polite to me, but there was no wrestling around. And as I left the room of his house, I noticed in the corner there was a set of weights. That's it.